Welcome back to our Hour's Walk. The international break is finally over and proper football can return. And what a game this is going to be this weekend as Scott Parker brings his Burnley side to Hillsborough. We've got Glyn, Matt and Andrew here to preview what should be a very, very tasty fixture. Welcome to our Hour's Walk. All right, so Sheffield Wednesday have already played Leeds at home and got roundly beaten, but this is a Burnley side that aren't scoring. So put in a low block, Matt, and all should be fine. How do you see this one going?
Yeah, tricky game, because had you asked me this a couple of weeks ago, right at the start of the season, I would have probably said to you, oh yeah, this is another drubbing on the horizon here for Sheffield Wednesday. But actually, as you say, they have faltered in recent weeks. I probably think that the international break has done them some good. In terms of being able to regroup, and Scott Parker will have been able to get them on the training pitch and kind of drill his ideas back into it and get back to some of that good form. But I would also say, on the positive hand, we went into the international break being incredibly stout defensively, and our shape is all but completely changed defensively without the ball from where it was at the start of the season. I see it being a much closer game than perhaps I would have done first 4 weeks of the season. And it could realistically, with it being a home game as well, this is one that really could go either way. Me personally, I would still think that Burnley, with the quality that is in their squad, I would imagine them to come and be looking obviously to win the game after a relatively naff set of recent results leading up into the international break. But yeah, we've got nothing to fear going into this game based on how we finished just before.
Okay, Glyn, this is the team that started at Coventry and of course won handsomely. But would you make any changes, and if so, where?
I quite like Ingleson sat in the number 8, but I'm not sure if we've actually seen Windass and Lowe together. Maybe once as a cameo, but I don't know. I think that's the only change I'd really make within that side. Like you say, it was defensively sound. We strung it together. We went 1-0 down and managed to bring it back and get the win. So if it's not broke, don't fix it. So I'd like to see Windass in there. Windass for me is settling into to kind of a new position really. It's not being relied upon as much as what he was the season before. So I'd probably bring Windass in. Is providing that he's fit and able to play. But if not, yeah, absolutely leave it as it is.
Okay. Andrew, the fixtures for Sheffield Wednesday between now and the next break, which is of course after the big derby game, Remembrance Weekend. Come on to that in a second. But your fixtures running up then is Swansea at home, Watford at home and Norwich at home. So some winnable games there for the Owls. You've got Portsmouth, of course, away from home, another winnable game. Brentford in the Cup. And then we finish the international, before we finish for the next international break, a small trip to Bramall Lane. How many points out of that possible 18 do you see as a minimum?
You heard it here first, Mark. You heard it here first. And the others, Matt and Glenn, can listen to me right now. At the moment, as we sit here today, Sheffield Wednesday are 8 points behind Sheffield United. I know they had 2 points deducted, fair enough, for their misdemeanor was last year. But at the end of the day, 8 points is going to be drastically reduced by the time we play them. And I reckon we are going to have every chance of beating them and going above them at Bramall Lane. Trust me. So I'm very hopeful. Next 4 home games we've got there are all winnable. Okay, it'd be a dream to win all 4 of them. And we've got Portsmouth away, which is easily as winnable. 15 points there. We could get 12 minimum and maybe more. We can do it. We've got to believe.
Okay. Short one this week because, of course, it's been international break, so we've got no football to review, which means I get a nice quiet break from this lot. So we will see you next week after the Burnley results, where our next little 6 block of games is going to kick off. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, Glenn. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Andrew. We will see you next week. Oh, come on.
1-0 Wednesday. 1-0 Wednesday going to win it. We beat Burnley 1-0.
Okay, drop us a comment, drop us a like, drop us a subscribe. We'll see you next week.